All right, First Chronicles 12. Let's call this one Mighty and subtitle it Loyalty, because this is a chapter in which we are going to see the ranks of Saul's army actually defect to David. As we mentioned before, it seems that they are losing faith in Saul's commitment to move Israel in a healthy direction, understanding that these chapters have emphasized the degree to which mighty men helped strengthen Israel's army. We mentioned already that mighty men can put pressure on leadership to be mighty as well, because to the degree these people are focused on being excellent and they are risking their lives in defense of a thing, it's only fair that they be able to trust they're risking their lives for something that matters. And so even though we have already generally heard the story of the transition from Saul to David as king of Israel, this chapter is giving us more insight into the role that defections played in strengthening David's army as men began to defect from Saul to David. And as opposed to focusing on the mighty men, because once again, this chapter is going to focus on the might of many of these tribes, the ones I want to take some time and give attention to are a couple that are not noted as being especially mighty, and those are the tribes of Dan and Naphtali, because in the midst of all these tribes that are noted for either being mighty or having valiant men or being super equipped for battle, these two tribes are simply noted as one being equipped and the other being armed, and that's it. And so they aren't given top billing or any billing whatsoever beyond simply being a part. But understand how important that is, because as I've mentioned from time to time, Sun Tzu, I'm not extremely familiar with his work, but I do remember one part that I'm going to paraphrase, and that is the strength of an army is at times determined in the ranks behind its mightiest soldiers, which isn't all that different from a euphemism we have here, which is a chain is only as good as its weakest link, helping us to understand the union between that chain reference and what Sun Tzu is saying. Recent espionage cases help us understand that beyond the ranks of our mightiest soldiers, a well-placed leak can be damaging to the entire organization. And so the thing that stood out to me in this chapter this week was not so much the praise that was given to the mightiest tribes in Israel, but the degree to which Israel's success was dependent upon the loyalty of tribes like Dan and Naphtali. Tribes whose loyalty to Israel's success had everything to do with whether or not Israel could progress, and more importantly, whether or not it had a tactical advantage over its enemies, whose ranks behind their most valiant soldiers might not have been as reliable as Dan and Naphtali were when Israel was at its best.